Hello, hello, hello! What's happening, everybody? MCOC Droid does back again for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. For this video, I wanted to do an account overview. I've never done one of these before, and about a week and a half ago, so not this past weekend, but the weekend prior, I hit 700k base hero rating, which I thought was pretty darn cool. And I also hit right around 7,300 in Prestige. It should be a little bit higher by now, just from a couple of random SIG levels on 5 stars and what have you. But I was like, okay, well, I've never done one of these before. I'd really like to. But then I realized that I wanted to go for the new 5-star featured crystal. I ended up going for 2 of them so far, which happened yesterday. Did that as a live stream, did get 2 new champs from that. So now that that is done, I wanted to go ahead and formally do an account overview. So I'm going to just talk about all of the different star ratings, the number of champs I have for each, you know, holes in my roster, plans that I have for the future, etc., etc. So based on what you're interested in, look down below in the description of the video. There will be timestamps for, you know, the different spots that I think are good for people to jump in. That way you don't have to sit and watch the whole thing or try and scroll to figure out where to go to see what you are looking for. So what better place to begin than at the beginning? Real fast, as you can see at the top there, I've got 353 champions with a total base hero rating of 712,329. Won't go into these champions just yet, but I am pretty happy with my top 4 that you see right here. All 5 stars, the rank 5 Blade, the rank 4 Archangel, Medusa, and MODOK. Yeah, really happy. I love them, love them, love them. But anyway, as I was saying, what better place to begin than at the beginning? My 1-star roster, I've only got 8 of them. I have sold a couple, as you can imagine. I used to sell champs a lot more often, especially when I was starting out in the game and, you know, slowly progressing, what have you. It's just at the time, you know, I wanted the ISO, or I wanted the gold, or the shards, or, you know, I wanted to sell the champs so that I could get them again, so that I could level them up and rank them up and get more points for like summoner advancement or the solo events or whatever. So I sold, you know, 1 stars, 2 stars, even some 3s and 4s. But as you can see, I definitely got stuck with the 1 stars because I think there are 12 in the game total, and in terms of a normal player, at max you can only have 11. Spider-Man is the first one you get from the crystal, guaranteed, and then your second one is either Iron Man or Wolverine. It's 50-50 shot. There was that event that happened last year that had the collector crystals, I think they were called, that only had 1 and 2-star champions in them, and I know a bunch of people spent a lot of units trying to get the champions that they don't have. And part of me wishes I did too, but I just totally avoided them. But I wouldn't mind getting those few other 1-star champions just to fill out the roster a little bit, and, you know, gotta catch them all, right? But yeah, so I've got the 8, as you can see right there. In terms of 2 stars, so again, I forget what the exact total is now, you know, because there are exclusive champions that pop up from time to time, like Marvel Insider bundles, which is where I've gotten some of these. You know, there are special events, like right now, there is the Gwenpool Goes to the Movies event, where there are 20 champions that you need to 100% the whole thing, and they're all available as 2 stars. And so there are a number of those that I know that I don't have, like War Machine, Iron Man Infinity War, Loki, and a couple of others. As of right now, I have 65 2-star champions, and as you can see, I've just been kind of scrolling through these a little bit for you. So yeah, so I know the total, the max number available is definitely over 70. If anybody happens to know what the actual accurate number of 2-star champions is these days, feel free to comment down below. I would definitely be interested to know, and would be happy to give you a shout out for that. But I'm at 65. As you saw going through all of these, they're all at rank 3, level 30, so they're all maxed out, indicated by the green star in the upper right corner there. So they're all level 30. rank 3. They're all awakened, and of the 65, 27 of them are at max sig. Now, again, some of the, well, pretty much any of the exclusive champions or the rare champions to get, I don't really focus on getting them to max sig anytime soon, because I can't pull them from the crystal. You know, they're not in the 2-star crystal, they're not in the premium hero crystal as a 2-star version. So if I know I'm never going to pull them for a potential max sig crystal, then I'm not going to focus my priority, my sig stones, things like that, on those champions until I know that every single quote-unquote basic 2-star champion is maxed out. At that point, sure, I'll start throwing them in. But like for right now, as you can see, Bishop is just level 1. You know, I had a 2-star Awakening Gem sitting around, so I threw it into him. Ditto Captain America Infinity War, same deal, level 1. Just because I'm not going to get them from a crystal anytime soon. Except for, you know, current events like these right now. So for the most part, since they're not available, it's not really a rush for me to get them to Sig level 99. I'd much rather focus on the ones that I know that I can get max Sig crystals for, because then that will accelerate the 3-star champion pulls. So speaking of 3 stars, moving right along, let's talk about 3 stars. So before I do, I kind of want to talk about the magic number that is going to revolve around 3-star and 4-star champions, and my roster and your roster and everybody's roster especially. The magic number is 126. Those are the current number of champs that are in game right now that are considered common or uncommon, but not, in my opinion, considered, we'll say, rare, or we can say common and rare, but not ultra rare. So what do I mean by this? So when I say 126, that is all of the champions that are regularly released into the game, which means, you know, the basic crystal for 4-star, 5-star, premium hero crystal, etc., etc. So that is, today is August the 8th, me recording this video. The last champ that was added to the game was Proxima Midnight last week. Corvus will be the next champion introduced into the crystals next week, but he does not count. He counts, but anyway. What I mean is he counts in terms of the overall number of champions, but he doesn't count obviously in terms of basic available pulls. So I am counting some of those, as I said, you can call it uncommon, you can call it rare, but champs that are still pretty, I don't want to say easy to obtain, but pretty available to obtain for basically anybody out there. So by that I mean Immortal Iron Fist, since you can get him from a max sig crystal as a 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, or yes, even 6-star. I do include Unstoppable Colossus because, again, you can get him from an Alliance Crystal as a 2 or 3-star. You can get him by saving up loyalty in the store so that you can get him as a 4-star or 5-star. So he is certainly common enough. Punisher, I consider common enough. You know, these days you can only get him from the arena crystals, but he has had arenas before where you could obtain him from an arena. So I do count all of them. I will also go ahead and count Deadpool and OG Vision. I know that those are exclusively pay to play, so to speak, whether it's units, whether it's dollars. Those 2 champions are only offered with offers, so they're only available with offers, but they are still more or less obtainable and common enough. The only 2 big ones that I am not counting are Kang and Thanos. While they are available as 4 and 5 stars, of course, particularly as 5 stars, only a handful of people in the grand scheme of things have them as playable champions. 4-star Kang is a little bit more common. I mean, again, we're not talking much, but it is technically a bit more common because of the fact that you get him from the last 2 big gifting events that have happened around the holidays, but he is still pretty rare. So I did take Kang and Thanos off the list, but I did include those other quote-unquote rare ones that I mentioned It also does include Ghost and Red Skull. As I said, this is the August the 8th that I'm recording this, so Red Skull came out last week with the arena and with the crystals. We know Korg and Heimdall are coming into the game this month, but since they have not had their first arenas or any crystals related to them just yet, I do not consider them part of the roster, so they do not count. So 126 is the magic number, and just wanted to throw that out there just to make sure to help keep things organized. So with that, I have 122 3-star champions. So I'm only missing 4. I'm missing OG Vision, who, we'll get to 4 stars next, obviously. I do have him as a 4-star, but I must have skipped his 3-star offers somehow and just jumped right to the 4 stars. Because, yeah, as you can see, I do not have a 3-star Vision. And I don't recall ever selling that champion just because he is more exclusive than your day-to-day champions. So I wouldn't have sold him. Sabretooth is the only champion in the basic crystal, like the basic 3-star crystal, the premium, what have you, that I do not have. In terms of champions that are not yet available in the basic crystals, I do not have Massacre, as you can see, and I don't have Red Skull. And if you watched my feature Grandmaster Crystal videos on those, you'll know that I'm just going to leave it at that and keep moving. So, 126 total, I have 122 of them. So, pretty darn close to being maxed out, which is nice, considering 2 of the champions aren't even available yet, and 1 you can only pay for with units. So I would like to get a 3-star Sabretooth pretty soon, just to round things out. As you can see, of all of my 3-star champions, they are almost all awakened and almost all maxed out. Corvus is the only one. I just got him about a week or so ago from a random featured Grandmaster Crystal, and I have not ranked him up, I have not awakened him or thrown any stones into him, so he is the exception to the rule. But as you can see, every other 3-star is maxed out. I do have that 3-star Immortal Iron Fist. That is the only one I have been able to obtain so far, though nothing higher. I pulled him twice total. The first pull, obviously, and then once as a dupe. At some point, I would have used a Mystic Awakening gem on him, and I threw in, I guess that would be 8 Sig Stones. So, yeah, I've only pulled him a total of twice, but he is at Sig level 17. Aside from that, in terms of the overall roster, well, I have some champs at various Sig levels. Of the 122 that I have, 81 of them are at max Sig levels. Now, again, it's so important to get your champion Sig levels up to 99 or 200 if they're a 5-star as quickly as you can. I mean, yes, you should focus on champions with really good abilities that need to be scaled up higher, and focus on them to get that Sig level up, like Void is the perfect example. But aside from, specific situations like that, or if you have some really strong chance and you just want to keep pushing their Sig ability so they get even stronger and stronger, you definitely want to focus on getting as many champions as possible to that max Sig, so that when you do pull them from, a premium crystal, a Grandmaster Crystal, a 3-star, a 4-star, whatever it is, you're getting those shards quicker. Yes, of course, there's always, except for the 3-star version, there's always a chance of getting either an Awakening Gem instead, or some Sig Stones, or, of course, the Immortal Iron Fist in all of them. But for the most part, when you get a max Sig Crystal, you're going to get more shards. So for every 3-star dupe that I'm getting, with having 81 out of 122 of my champs at max Sig, that's 2/3 that I know I'm going to most likely get an additional 55 4-star shards, which is pretty awesome, I must say. It just makes those 4-star pulls happen so much quicker. If you follow my channel, you know I do weekly crystal openings now, and between stuff like that and just the week's activity, etc., I'm opening usually at least 3 or 4 4-stars every single week. And while not all of that is coming from these max Sig crystals, that certainly helps. Getting a few hundred extra 4-star shards every week is no laughing matter. I mean, that's a lot, even to, people at my rating of 700,000, plenty of people who are even higher than I am. And I mean, an extra 400 to 500 5-star shards every single week, if not more, just from these crystals is fantastic. You know, it's really speeding up the 4-star crystal pulls, which is then speeding up the champs that you get and the sig levels getting higher on those. So that's my little aside in this account overview video. Get those sig levels up, get those max sig crystals flowing, so then you're getting your pulls happening more often, you're getting those sig levels for higher champs going more often, and you're just strengthening your roster and your rating overall, which is really cool. So yeah, but anyway, back to the account overview. So 122 total, 81 at max sig, pretty much all of them awakened and at max rank. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty darn happy with that indeed. So up next, of course, we have the 4 stars. So again, basing off of the magic number of 126, like I was saying earlier, I have a grand total of 109 of the 4-star champions. So a little bit fewer than 3 stars, but still certainly no complaints, as I do have a good number of these that are not yet available, like in the basic 4-star crystal or the premium crystal, etc., etc. So yeah, 109 total. Again, obviously a bit more of these are not awakened than the 3 stars, just because, you know, the pulls don't happen as often overall as 3-star champions, or you have, you know, certainly in the case of like Ronan here, who's one of the Realm of Legends champions, you know, I need to dupe them through a Labyrinth of Legends. You know, fewer awakening gems overall than 3 stars, and so on and so forth. But yeah, feeling pretty good about the 4-star roster overall. Like I said, 109 out of 126. Of those, 36 are at max sig. So I am actually very happy with that. Of course, I want to keep pushing and keep getting more and more. But this is really where it starts getting interesting, because again, 36 out of 109, that is about a third of the 4-star champions that I have that are max sig, which means, again, most likely I'm getting an additional 275 5-star shards with every 4-star dupe that I'm getting. You know, that's pretty good odds in my book. And like I said, I want to keep pushing. I want to get to 40 max sig and 50 max sig. Just keep going more and more. But for right now, it's pretty darn good. So it's nice, especially to have those 5-star shards flowing more often. Because yes, those pulls don't happen as often as the 3 stars and the 4 stars. But the faster I can get shards, especially like right now, with the current 5-star feature crystal being as amazing as it is, I want as many pulls of that as possible. So to have those 4-star max sig champions and to have so many of them, I'm very happy with that. That is definitely going to continue to be my focus, is just pump sig stones into champions whenever they're starting to get close to 99, just so I can max them and move on to the next champion, basically. So if I sort these by rank real fast, as you can see, of the 109, I have 24 of them, so these first 6 rows right here, that are at rank 5, which I really like having that. I mean, obviously it's a nice round number for arenas, and there are still, you know, 4-star champions that I use on a fairly regular basis. Scarlet Witch kind of being the number 1 there. She pretty regularly stays on my Alliance Quest team. She's solid, especially if you get lucky enough with the regens and stuff like that. It can really help get through the maps. And then, you know, just some other uses here and there with a couple of the others. But primarily, I have as many rank 5 champions as I do, as I mentioned, for Arena. So that's 8 full teams of rank 5 4-stars. So particularly in the 4-star basic Arena, I'm able to get to the infinite streak pretty darn quickly. If I move down here, didn't need to tap on proxy. If I move down here, where I start the rank 4 champions, I have 22 of those. So it's these first 5 rows, and then it stops here at Wolverine. So I have 22 rank 5 champions. I do 5 teams of those in the 4-star basic arena. You know, if I'm just looking for milestones, or maybe I am going to the champs because I don't have them yet. I do 5 teams of rank 4 champions, and then I just roll through with rank 5s and just keep going till I hit 15, and then after that I get the rank 4s back in, and just sort of repeat, and the points add up pretty darn quickly to get milestones for the 4-star basic arena, I must say. So that is why I still kind of focus on getting some 4-star champions up, and I do have a couple that I use on defense just for diversity, but for the most part it's just for raiding, and it's for arena, and a little bit more for Alliance Quest as well. So like I said, I'm at 109. There are, I believe, 11 champs that are currently in the basic pool that I don't have. There are a couple in there. King Groot, I know, is probably the biggest one, where I just have never pulled them. You know, he's not one of like the OG champs or anything, but he's been around long enough, and I've just never pulled him as a 4-star. That's just, you know, how it goes. There are a few in there as well that I may have sold once or twice. You know, like Spider-Gwen or She-Hulk or what have you. I definitely need those. Groot is probably the one that I've sold the most. You know, 2 times, 3 times, something like that. But let's see, where are you, Groot? But now that he's back in my roster, and as you can see, he's at Sig 40. So whenever I last got him back into the roster, I've since pulled him 2 more times. So at this point, I'm not going to sell him. Like I said, I don't really do it anymore. I used to do it when I was younger, not younger, but when I was earlier in the game, which is also younger. I've been playing this for, you know, about 2.5 years now. Somewhere between 2.5 and 3 years. You know, like I said, I would do it for the gold, or the ISO, or the shards, or just getting the points again. But now I'm all about keeping my champions, getting them duped, getting their sig level up, so that I can either use them in arena for more points and more shards and more champions, or I can use them for the max sig crystals for more shards, for more champions. So it's definitely worth it to keep, especially the 3-star roster going and the 4-star roster going, without selling any more, and just continuing to build as much as I possibly can. So now we're getting into the juicy stuff. Now let's talk 5 stars. So as I mentioned, I did my double 5-star feature crystal opening yesterday as a live stream. If you haven't watched it and you were interested in watching it, stop this video right now, because of course I'm about to spoil it. Go watch it, come on back, do what you gotta do. But if you've seen it or you don't care, then I'm just going to keep on rolling forward. So I did get 2 new champions yesterday, which brought my grand total of 5-star champions to 47. So I need 1 more in order to get back to perfect teams again. Which is, it's always a nice feeling to have perfect teams for arena. Just sets of 3. It's always really nice. But anyway, so I'm 1 off of that. The 2 new ones that I got yesterday, they are right next to each other. They're the 2 Iron Men. I got the Iron Patriot, and then super happy about the Iron Man Infinity War that I got. Talk a little bit more about him in a minute. But I'm going to continue to keep going for the feature crystal while it's out, until, you know, unless I get super lucky and it starts being less and less worth it for me to go for it. I am absolutely just going to keep going for it, because, you know, I did get Iron Man Infinity War, but I don't have the 5 other featured champions, which means, of course, I would also want some of them awakened, potentially. There's some other really good champs in there that I don't have, or that would be good first dupes. So I'm absolutely going to keep going for the 5-star featured for the time being. Again, like I said, I've got 47 of them. Let me go ahead and sort by rank so we can start talking about that. The cream of the crop and my number 1 champion, my profile champion, is of course the 5-star Blade, which I'm pretty happy with. Definitely always looking good right there. As you can see, his sig level is 104. He is one of 3 5-star champions whose sig level is 100 or higher. The next one up is Archangel, who happens to be my number 2 champion overall. Also rank 4, of course, and so his SIG level, as you can see, is at 136, so that he's definitely getting up there quite nicely. But the highest SIG level champion that I have as a 5-star is Mr. Star-Lord himself, up to 161, so definitely getting close to SIG level 200, where there are 6-star max SIG crystals, or 5-star max SIG crystals, however you want to look at it. But there are max SIG crystals that come from duping a 5-star at max SIG level, and so those include 6-star shards, 5-star awakening gems, 5-star SIG stones, and then, of course, a 6-star immortal Iron Fist. I, of course, have not got one of those crystals. I have seen a few of them out there. I don't know that I've seen a 6-star immortal Iron Fist, but I mean, you talk about it pretty looking real. Again, with 5-star awakening gems and SIG stones, and 6-star shards, and 6-star immortal Iron Fist. Like, oh god, such pretty real. So Star-Lord is the closest that I'm at, like I said, at 161. I'm just going to kind of keep pushing here and there. I pretty much use my stones on my top 5 or 6 champions here. You know, for skill I use Blade. For Mutant I use Archangel. Cosmic I started to use more on Medusa. Science I keep pouring into MODOK. And then Tech, of course, goes into Star-Lord. Mystic I keep saving. I've only got 2 Mystic 5-star champions. That is Loki and Iron Fist. Iron Fist is awakened, but I'm not going to put any stones into him, and Loki isn't, so they just continue to build. I've got like 70 Mystic 5-star 6 stones just sitting around waiting for a voodoo or something. Fingers crossed. But anyway, let me talk about the rank now. So like I said, I've got Blade as the only rank 5 champion so far. In terms of rank 4 champions, I have 5 of them. So I've got Archangel, come on, there we go. Medusa, MODOK, Hela, and Mr. Star-Lord. In terms of rank 3, I have 6 of them, I believe. So I have Drax, Gwenpool, Hulk Ragnarok, Spider-Man Classic, Iceman, and Ultron. And then at that point, with Sentry, it's rank 2 and going on down. The 2 Iron Men that I got yesterday, I haven't touched yet. I'm waiting for a level up or a tech advancement or both. Iron Man, Infinity War for sure, bare minimum is going to rank 3. Honestly, really going to rank 4. I don't think I would rank 5 them just yet, but for sure rank 4. Potentially we'll get the generic gem that I've had sitting around since February when I 100% all of Act 5. If he does get it though, it's not going to happen just yet. There is that cinematic crystal, the 5-star version that you can get if you 100% the epic difficulty of the Gwenpool goes to the movies event all 4 weeks, so I'm going to wait on that. Like I said, I'm going to keep opening featured crystals. So I might give him the gem, but it's definitely not going to be anytime soon. I definitely need to make some other polls first. I mean, aside from that, it's relatively spread out, as you can see. I mean, for every Hela and Star-Lord and Archangel that I have and awakened and ranked up pretty high, I've gotten some less than good polls too. I mean, I've gotten, well, I was going to say I got Sentry and then duped him, but he's a little bit better since he got his buff earlier this year. But, I mean, I've got 5-star Groot. I've got 5-star Iron Man, who's not all that great, especially unawakened. I've got and duped 5-star Falcon, who, you know, hooray. 5-star Red Cyclops. He was my very first 5-star champion. And then I got him again on my 3rd overall 5-star poll. And then ever since then, I've duped him 2 more times. So I've gotten Red Cyclops a total of 4 times from crystals. Who else? Karnak, She-Hulk I have, and duped. I believe that happened within the span of 1 month. So that was kind of brutal. I have and have duped Colossus. I have Kamala Khan here, Spider-Gwen, of course this brand new Iron Patriot, Daredevil Netflix, but the cream of the crop, if you will, of my less than stellar polls is this Hulkbuster, who I have duped twice. Not cool, fam. Not cool. So it's an interesting mix of good champs, okay champs, and not so good champs. But anyway, so people have been asking as well, what are your plans for your next big rank up? Who is your next 5-star rank 5 going to be? Before I get into that, let me talk about 6-star champions real quick, and crystals and frags and what have you. So 6 stars, I've got only 2 of them so far. Cable is my first one, I got him from a basic, and then Kingpin is my second one, who I got from a featured. And I was definitely disappointed from that, because of course he was available in the basic, so that was throwing away 5,000 6-star shards, which right now is certainly not an easy thing to do, because they're not that easy to pick up in the game. So he's not a bad champion, but I was definitely disappointed because of getting him rather than one of the featured or one of the non-basic champions that were featured in that crystal. So, you know, it is what it is. So, going back to the conversation about who am I going to rank up next, what am I going to pull, etc., etc. As I mentioned for 5 stars, I'm going to keep opening features. That's guaranteed. In terms of 6-star, so I still have some uncollected left to do this month. It's certainly not done. But I'm literally a stone's throw away from opening a basic crystal. As you can see, I've got 9,975 shards away. I'm about as close as you can get in this game. The only thing I know I'm not going to do is go for a basic right now. Yes, there's some great champs in there, but there are a lot of great champs coming. So just like what happened when the first 6-star crystal feature, 6-star featured crystal expired, something like that. Arrange the words as you see fit. What's going to happen when this one expires is that the 6 featured champions and the 6 exclusive champions, so like Dr. Octopus, Punisher 29, etc., are all going to go into the 6-star basic crystal, and then we'll have a brand new 6-star featured. So, while that means that this basic crystal will now have a pool of 48 champions in it, it will still, of course, only be 10,000 shards. And I'm hoping by then 6-star shards will be a little bit easier to come by, you know, whether they start adding more in the uncollected mode or they start adding them in other places in the game. But it's 33 days away. So, like I said, there are basically 3 options. I either open a basic as soon as I get to 10,000, which could literally be tomorrow. I wait and open a basic after this crystal expires and the new champs come in. Or I go for this current feature. And while it is tempting, and it's very tempting, because again, getting a 6-star Domino, Cap Infinity War, Proxima, Midnight would be solid, Corvus would be amazing, Iron Man Infinity War would be amazing. Part of me is tempted to do it, and I could do it in time, but we'll see. I don't know that I want to have that be my next 6-star pull. I don't know. I got some time to decide. But the point is, going back to 5 and 6-star, and that's where I'll wrap up this video, based on what my next 6-star pull is, if it's somebody amazing, like some of the ones I just mentioned, you know, Corvus or Domino or Iron Man Infinity War, or some of the ones that are already in the basic, like Gladiator Hulk or Hela, Void, etc., I would consider ranking one of those up to rank 2, rather than ranking up a 5-star to rank 5. However, if I don't get an amazing 6-star pull, my next rank 5 is 100% going to be Medusa. She can just put out damage like nobody's business, and that's not even talking about the Inhuman Royal Family synergy. Like, I'm not even going to incorporate that in my conversation. Just what she can do on her own, especially once awakened, is staggering. Brian Grant did an amazing video on Medusa, especially breaking down her bleed damage once you get the armor shattered up on your opponent, and it's unbeatable. It's basically unbeatable. If not, then it's certainly up there. And you know, she does a lot of damage at rank 4. I would love to have her as a rank 5. So if I don't get an amazing 6-star pull for my next champion, it's gonna be Medusa. Now, there are other options, of course. Archangel is always a possibility. MODOK is a possibility. Some of these others I could take up. You know, Iceman, certainly. Iron Man Infinity War, certainly. But it's got to be Medusa. She just has so much going on for her that I can't think of a better option for my current roster right now. And that I could make happen sooner rather than later. So I do need one more Tier 5 Basic and 2 more Tier 2 Alphas. So you might be thinking, oh, well, that's actually going to take a while. Well, going to the Catalyst here real fast, as you can see, I'm literally 1,000 frags away from forming the next Tier 5 Basic. And like I said, I have started Uncollected, but I have not finished it, so I can still get the additional 6,000 frags from Uncollected for this month of August. On top of that, Tier 2 Alphas, as you can see, again, I need to get to 6, but right now I'm only 5,000 frags away from getting to 5. So that would not take too long either. That would take, you know, probably 2 to 3 more weeks based on Uncollected and AQ crystals and things like that. But I could certainly make a rank 5 happen before the end of the month if I chose to do that. So it really will boil down to what I think I'm going to do with my 6-star poll and who that ends up being after I actually go for the poll. But all in good time. For now, that is going to wrap it up. Hopefully you didn't fall asleep to the sound of me droning on about champions for quite a while. But hopefully you did find this informative, a little bit entertaining. You enjoyed checking out my roster. If you did, feel free to smash that like button. And like I said, comment down below with all sorts of different stuff. You know, what's your rating right now? Who's your top champ? What champ are you really hoping for? You know, always interested to hearing about that for so many different people. So feel free to throw that down below. Again, smash the like button. I know I said it once before, but what the heck, why not one more time? If you're not already a subscriber, feel free to do so and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I go live or whenever I put up new videos like this one. Shortly after the stream last night, I broke 600 subs, so, you know, super shout out to everyone who's been supporting me so far. I really, really do appreciate it. I know it sounds cliche, but I can't do it without you all. You know, I have been so thankful of the support I've gotten so far. And yes, of course, the next goal will be to get to 1,000 subs. But right now, I'm just worried about the content. I want to make sure that I'm making stuff that you all enjoy. It's, you know, fun and entertaining, but also informative and educational, and it's crystals and it's combat and it's stuff about the game, anything really, you know. I want to try and keep it as varied and fun and informative as possible. So, you know, I'm just going to keep on pushing, but thank you to everybody so far who's been supporting me. I really, 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 really can't thank you all enough. And that will officially wrap up this video. So thank you one more time for watching. Take care, everybody, and I will see you next time.